the particles won't actually collide, but they will still actually count as being true in the test, so they will actually be sent on to another event. So if I click on continue, scrub back to the beginning, and then scrub through, you'll see that as the particles hit the space warp, they actually go red. You can see there's a difference. Don't worry about these here, this is actually a display glitch. There we are, just move the screen to get rid of that. So you can see as they go through, they test true and they get sent on to the next event. The next option is for the particles to stop, and they'll stop dead and also test true. So there you can see they actually accrue on the surface of the S deflector. And the last option is random. And random will actually be any one of these three in random order. So, you know, sometimes that might be useful. So if we pick random, play through, you'll see some will continue, some will bounce off, and so forth. So those are the options. The next option in the test true if particle group is slow after collisions. Now what this does is it actually tests your particles, and it says if after the collision the particle speed is less than 1, it tests true. If not, it doesn't. So if we play through, you can see our particles bounce off, and you can see that none of them are actually being sent on to the next event. And that's because none of them actually test true in this particular test. Now that's because none of the particles actually lose any speed when they make the collision. They're already traveling at a speed of 36, so you can see this test has no effect. Now there's two ways obviously I could make this test have an effect. The first one is to, if I move the slider down, grab this speed value and put it above 36. So there we go. When I get above 36, all of the particles should test as true. As they come down, they strike. Actually some of them aren't, but as I put it up you'll see more and more of them actually do test as true. There we go. The other way of actually getting this test to take place is if I put the speed down, you can see that they'll actually not test true. But if I actually go to the speed here and actually set it lower to a much lower value, let's say 9, let it scrub on a bit. They'll actually never make it, so let's just extend our time range a little bit here. I'll go for 400. There we go. Now if I let the simulation continue, they'll come down and strike, and you can see that some of them are testing true. Now in this case I'm actually forcing the issue, but in a lot of particle flows after collision there are lots of ways that you can actually get your particles to slow down naturally, and it's very natural for particles to lose some of their energy after a collision. So if I actually scrub back here again, I'll just put the speed back up to 36 so they travel downwards at a decent pace, and then there they are, they're bouncing off. I'll set the test here to be, let's say 20. You can see none of them are actually testing true for that. I'll just scrub it on so they've all collided or missed, whatever. Some as you can see actually missed the deflector. Now something that we'll come to later is actually the parameters on the deflector itself, and one of the deflector's values is bounce, and at the moment the deflector is actually imparting energy to the particles, so that's why our speed earlier actually had to be more than 36 for the test to be true. So if I drag this down, you can see the particles are coming inwards. That's because they're actually losing some of the energy now when they collide. Well, they're actually not losing energy, they're still actually gaining 0.2 there. But once we get it down below 1, we start to actually lose energy, which is actually, you know, generally the physically correct thing to happen in a collision. A particle will strike an object and it'll lose some of its energy into that object. So if we move it down, you'll see that some of the particles now start to come under that threshold, and eventually all of them do. There we go. So now we have a more sort of realistic collision. You can see our particles lose speed when they strike now. So there we go. Now the next option we have down is fast after collision. So let's actually make our particles go down. You can see none of them test true. We've got a very fast speed here. So let's actually put that down to 100. There we go. Still not testing true. Now that's because our particles actually lose speed when they strike the surface. Let's say we wanted to have a non-real world kind of simulation, and we wanted our particles to gain energy when they strike a surface. We can actually go up to the bounce and we'll just put that up above 1. So you can see now they actually gain speed. So I'm just going to put this up and up and up, and there we are. This particle's actually gone above a speed of 100, and therefore it's testing true. This one has,